Applying for roles in the instructional design field can be a bit intimidating, especially if you're newer to the field, and you may be wondering what you can do to stand out above the crowd. Creating e-learning projects with unique elements and some personalization can be that thing that sets you apart. Stay tuned because I have 3 really great examples that showcase what it means to have a unique and personalized project, and I'll also share some tips on how you can make your e-learning projects unique to help you stand out with hiring managers. Hey there, I'm Sabrina. When I was finishing building my portfolio and started applying for jobs, I definitely wondered if the samples on my portfolio were going to be enough to help me stand out and make hiring managers and recruiters want to talk to me. What helped me quiet those thoughts was reflecting on what made my projects unique. Things like drawing custom dog kennels and using my dog Finn's bark in one of the questions on my flagship project. Those 2 things on their own didn't help me stand out because they can only be found in my projects. What made them stand out was creating custom dog kennels showed that I could create custom assets, and using my dog Finn's bark showed that I was resourceful, 2 skills that hiring managers are looking for. But I don't want you to build a project only to worry that, is this going to help you stand out? I want to share some tips and show you some great examples that are going to help you build your next e-learning project with confidence and adding unique elements that are going to help you stand out with hiring managers. The first project was built by Vanessa Miller, and she did a great job of handling a sensitive topic, using appropriate language to avoid microaggressions. One of the aspects of Vanessa's project that I really love is when we get to meet the mentor. The mentor gives us this like a little flashback scene to teach us about microaggressions, and I love the way that Vanessa thought about it to make sure that the tone was informative without being judgmental. Let's take a look. Not only did Vanessa use storytelling to help learners feel comfortable around this sensitive subject, she was also very thoughtful when choosing her color palette. She started off with 2 color palettes, one that was much more vibrant and trendy to represent the brand, and the other is the calmer color palette that you saw in the project. She decided to go with the calm palette because of the course content. This was such a great project. Let's hear from Vanessa about her thoughts on designing this project.
So during my flagship project, an obstacle that I had to overcome was I really wanted to put a flashback sequence during the mentor introduction. And this flashback was going to be animated, but initially I just used the timeline to kind of guesstimate how long the dialogue would take people to read. And when I shared that first iteration with Sabrina, she came back to me to share that you really can't guess how long it's going to take people to read. So I needed to program it so the learner could advance the story themselves using an arrow. And it was really cool to see how that simple switch really enhanced that flashback, because I really wanted it to build empathy in the learner as they dived into this topic around microaggressions, and creating that foundational understanding before they dived into everything else was really important to me. And I'm really glad with how it came out. And it was so nice to have Sabrina's support and feedback to make sure I could execute my idea properly.
Thanks for sharing with us, Vanessa. Your project turned out great, and I hope you are very proud of it because you should be. So the first tip that we have when creating a unique project that's going to help you stand out is to consider the subject matter. When choosing your color palette, you want to refer to color psychology. Think about what is the mood or feelings you're trying to evoke. Like bright red is going to be creating like the sense of urgency, where a calmer like blue is going to be calm. Also consider the language you're using. So like in Vanessa's mentor scene, like I said, the mentor tells us about microaggressions, how it can make someone feel, but you don't feel like judged in any way. So think about what is the tone and what is the message you're sending. Being considerate of the subject matter not only enhances your learning experience, but it also shows your capabilities and dedication as an instructional designer, making you a standout candidate for those roles. The next project we have is by Dan McGuire. His project focuses on call center employees and helping them stay calm when customers get angry. Dan added some really cool elements that really help his project stand out, and the graphics you're about to see were all AI generated, which if you've ever used AI to generate images, you know how difficult it can be to get the prompts just right to get the image exactly the way you want it. Let's take a look at the snippet of Dan's project.
Oh, have I finally been connected with a human? Thank goodness. $500 was taken from my account, and it wasn't me. What is this? Is my account not safe?
The voice you heard in that clip was Dan. He recorded himself to help make this experience much more immersive, and I really think it adds to the whole experience. Dan, tell us a little bit about designing this project.
Hi, my name's Dan, and for my flagship project, Earn the 5-Star, the biggest difficulty that I ran into was incorporating Midjourney AI into creating the images that I used. Specifically, getting all of those images to look like they're happening in the same spot. They could be in the same building, where you're dealing with things like lighting, the office background, and the people, the way they're dressed, the way they look, making it so that it is congruent from the beginning of the project to the end of the project when we're dealing with different shots. The two things that I used to really help me overcome those challenges and to arrive at something I felt really good about. Number one, Sabrina's Midjourney AI video, really well done, helped me out a lot. Second, delving into the prompts and specifying things like lighting and the camera that is used, the quality of the shot, some of those parameters that you can really delve into really help to tie things together to make a project that visually really seems seamless from the beginning to the end, and something I was really happy with. Overall, really great experience using Midjourney AI.
Thanks for sharing, Dan. Your project turned out great, and I really love all the elements that you added to it. I think it really, really makes it immersive. Our second tip is to add personalization and customization. So experiment with tools like Dan did, using things like Midjourney. You can use AI to generate unique images for your course. And those images that you generate with AI, you can use directly in your course, or if you are fortunate enough to be working with a graphic designer, you can use AI to generate images and send those to your graphic designer as like proof of concept so that they know what you're talking about and what you'd like to see. You can also use audio and be strategic about the way you use it. You don't want to overwhelm your learner with a lot of sounds and different things all playing at once, but if you're strategic, you can use it to add moments of delight. So if they get something correct, maybe there's like a little ding or something, or if they get something wrong, you can give them feedback that way too, where like they hear a sound and they know it was wrong. Or like Dan, he added voiceover to really create like you are in this call center hearing this angry customer, and it makes this realistic environment. By integrating these elements into your ID portfolio and e-learning courses, you demonstrate your ability to use current technologies or emerging technologies and methodologies to create engaging, effective, and inclusive learning experiences. If you're interested in gamification, then you're going to love this next course by Sophia Pastor. She created a course for learners to practice identifying and reporting phishing scams, a common e-learning topic, but Sophia's approach was more than the common approach. She really made her experience a great experience, very unique. She did a great job of combining a first-person point of view simulation with gaming elements sprinkled in. Let's take a look at it. Sophia was also very intentional when it came to writing her positive and negative consequences. She does a great job of showing the learner what happens when they make a choice instead of telling them if their answer is right or wrong. Let's hear from Sophia about designing this course.
So I decided to take a gamified approach for my e-learning project. Coming from a background in education and in ed tech, where I consistently create learning experiences that are relevant, engaging, and fun, I decided this was the perfect time to apply that thinking and those skills. When I was creating my flagship project, I was writing my text-based storyboard, and I wasn't sure how to represent the learner's progress visually. At first, initially, I decided to have the character lose a piece of armor with each incorrect answer. But after speaking with Sabrina, my bootcamp pro, she suggested that the armor level up with each correct answer. And not being a big gamer myself, I loved that idea and ran with it. It's similar to when you're playing a video game and you're strengthening the character, strengthening their armor, preparing for the big boss battle at the end. And then my team's input on the Cyber Warriors armor choices and other character design choices, combined with Sabrina's feedback, absolutely enhanced my flagship project.
Thanks for sharing, Sophia. It was so much fun watching your project come together, and I'm really glad we got to share it with everyone today. Our last tip for creating a standout project is have fun and enjoy the process. Experiment with combining approaches. We saw how Sophia took a first-person simulation, added some gaming components to create this really unique experience. So as you're writing your storyboard, think about what elements can you combine to create a unique experience, and have fun in those visual mock-ups as you're putting things together. Also, you can get really creative on how you provide learner feedback. You can definitely tell learners, yes, that's correct because, no, that's incorrect because, but that's not very memorable. I'm not going to remember that. But if you show consequences instead of telling, that's really going to resonate with learners. If you make an incorrect choice in an e-learning experience and you see what the consequence is, you see all the bad stuff that happens, you're less likely to make that mistake in the real world, which is exactly what we want. Enjoying the process of creating e-learning experiences really shows your passion for learning. And that passion for learning and creating these projects can be inspiring and infectious to your colleagues. And it can be a desirable trait that employers are looking for if they really value motivated and dedicated employees. You can create e-learning courses that help you stand out from the competition by being considerate of your subject matter, adding personalization and customization, and having fun. Have you used any of the elements we talked about today in any of your projects, or did you see something that you want to try in your next build? Let us know down in the comments below. Thank you again to Vanessa, Dan, and Sophia for letting us see your projects and telling us a little bit more about those builds. Vanessa, Dan, and Sophia all went through the Instructional Design Bootcamp where they learned the skills to become competitive instructional designers. We would love to have you join us in the ID Bootcamp where we can help you achieve freedom and flexibility as an instructional designer. To learn more, go ahead and go to idbootcamp.com. If you're not ready to join the bootcamp, then be sure to download the free Become an ID checklist that we will link to down below. And again, thank you for letting us share your projects, Vanessa, Sophia, and Dan, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye.